Hello everyone, nubkeks here. Welcome back to Nub Raids. And today, even though it's only Tuesday, we already have the full information for the summoning events that are coming over the weekend. So this, of course, is part of this Heroes Path event, which starts on Thursday and runs for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So 4 days of summoning as opposed to 3, which is why we're also hearing about it on Tuesday. As opposed, normally we'd hear about it like on Thursday. We're getting it very, very early this time around. But here we go. These are the events that are going to be happening. So it's the 17th of April, Thursday. There'll be 2 events. Yeah. Basically, we've got a 2x for Sacred Shards, Legendaries and Sacreds 2x that will be on for 96 hours. So that's the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Then on Thursday, there will be a 15x Progressive Chance event for Dunelord Gregor and to Hanorach. On Friday, it will be Vizig and Grazor. Saturday, Heraclites and Necret, and Sunday will be Admirable. I can't. Oh my god! I didn't even mean to do that. I always call him Admirable. I've got some sort of mental block on saying Admiral, Black Tusk, and Arnon the Shining. So basically, you've got like 24 hours each of these Progressive Chance events, but then there's 2x Sacreds on the whole time. So 2x Sacreds, it's one of the weaker events. It's fine. It's good, but it's not as good as Ancients or Voids, or Primals, as a matter of fact, because, well, with 2x Ancients, not only is your Legendary chance doubled, but so is your Epic chance, and that's a pretty big deal. For Sacreds, not so much, but this is part of the Hero's Path, so that becomes kind of juicy, and these are Faction Unity champions. They're not normally in the summon pool, which makes them very valuable. So yeah, this is a pretty decent shot if you want any of these Faction Unity. Thursday, Gregor and to Hanorach. There's no boosted chance for Voids, but I do think that probably the best champion on this list, arguably in my opinion, is a Void. Thursday, Gregor and to Hanorach. I'm not too sold on this one. Honestly, to me, this is pretty underwhelming. The main issue simply, well, it's very simple. Barbarians is extremely strong. It's a hell of a faction. Alaz is amazing. Like, if we look at who we want to use for like Faction Wars, Siege, whatever, we've got Alaz, yes. Armans. Thor's not bad. Sill's not bad. Freya, yes, for both of them. Valkyrie's okay. Zahara's okay. Esme's okay. Loki, Yakarl's not bad. To Hanorach, but we got Odin. But like, I can easily build a team with like Odin, Armans, Alaz, Freya, you know? It gets a little tricky, I think, to fit Gregor in. Now, Gregor himself, he's decent. He can put out some provokes. Your team will ignore resistance when placing like stuns, which is nice with Armans, and you do more damage. Counterattacks, again, that's a nice synergy with Valkyrie, who gives you team counterattack. Your instant effects and debuffs can't be resisted or blocked on your default skills. It's cool. His A1 is a 50-50 to provoke. He does bring you increased attack and accuracy with a cooldown decrease, turn meter boost. And this is the nice part here with 3 faction allies. You get instant turn on your highest crit damage champion. That's powerful. So bearing in mind, in Siege, or yeah, probably just Siege is the only place you use a Barbarian team. They're likely to be. He's also not crazy fast, so their Arman's likely to be faster, and then they're probably gonna have the rest of their champs in Stone Skin. But it is pretty cool. This is a really nice move. Increased attack accuracy with turn meter boost. It's very like an R base, but he's got a bit lower base speed. But it's cool. Then he's an AoE. You know, I feel like he's mostly about the A3. He's fine. He's good, but I'm not crazy about Gregor, to be honest. I just feel like, you know, like I'm looking at my Faction Wars team and I'm thinking I'll throw in Freya for sure, probably Armans, probably Loki as well. I've got oodles of control. I could do then Alsgor and Jetney. I'm good. I don't even have Odin, so I don't know. Same sort of thing with me for, I'll probably, I even forgot to say Thor. I'll probably throw in Thor instead of Jetney. Don't need the decreased defense. Thor is just that strong. And bam, I've got a full team. Bit tricky to fit them in. Again, same sort of thing with to Hanorach. She was very strong in Hydra for a good long time because she's one of the best increased defense, increased speed champs. And she had that block buffs and decreased attack. And back in the day when you were manualing Hydra all the time and there were no or very few good block buff options, she was phenomenal because you would manually place this on a head that had no debuffs, and then she would spread those 2 debuffs around and it worked. And you could place your decreased speed with her A1s, and she was cleansing, protected you from torment. I just feel like there are more good perfect fail champs. There's more good block buff champs these days. I mean, Firal. Firal, hello. Uh, yeah, she's kind of fallen off a bit. Now, she's still solid. She's a good Void Legendary, but personally not one I would chase. At least there's another Void Legendary in this list I would chase much more than her. That's my thoughts on them. They're both good champions. Like, they're both probably like A+, S-, probably S- even. Like, they're both great. But I don't know, is that enough when we're up against these other options? Now, Vizig and Grisor. So Ogren on the next day. Vizig, I've got actually 2 copies of Vizig. Vizig has yet to be useful. I've built a couple of teams with Vizig just for fun. And like, he can be okay. He's fine for some stuff. Like for Dragon's Lair, guess what? He's good. He's pretty good for Dragon. You know, putting out loads of burns and poisons, lots of them, extending the burns and poisons, and then activating them on his A1, making your burns and poisons do more damage. He's really good. But guess what? I could just put in Marius with a healer, and he does the dungeon faster. So what's the point? Sort of same thing with almost every dungeon in the game right now, actually, is I go, what if I just put in Marius with a healer? Can Marius just solo everything? And often the case is yes, he can. So yeah, but Vizig, he is good. But he hasn't, I would not recommend him. However, I do think for Faction Wars, he's likely to be very strong. He's got a really good aura. And for Faction Wars, he's likely to be fantastic. He actually does a lot of, he gives increased speed, and he actually does a lot of healing with faction allies. You can heal people up to 50% max HP. It can be very strong, making your buffs and debuffs more consistent. He synergizes incredibly well with Stock, the Broken. I think I still remember putting the, one of those things, was it a good idea? Was it a bad idea? Like, this fusion is broken. And I think a lot of commenters didn't get the joke and just were like, no, you're saying he's like broken, but like he's good, but he's not that broken. I'm like, it was a good joke, okay? I'm sorry. It was good. Visic also, he synergizes pretty well with Gerda too. So there's some nice synergies in here. He goes well with Gizmak. He's okay. So Faction Wars hard, he might be good. But again, I feel like he's a bit of a tough sell, I think. Grisor, again, likewise, he's good. He's like that sort of A+, S-. I'd say Vizig is sort of like an A tier champ, maybe. Grisor is pretty solid, right? AoE provoke, increased resistant defense. And then he extends those buffs. So he's very good for increased resistant defense. The AoE provoke, the AoE enemy max HP, gives you a bit of a shield on his A1. He's like healing your team and gets himself unkillable on his passive. He's a really solid champion. He's great for Hydra. For me, he's no longer a 5 out of 5 for Hydra. Again, I think, you know, in terms of damage, there's just other champs that do it better. But like, yeah, I mean, he's just sort of being power crept by multi-hit enemy max HP at this point and just raw damage. But he is very good, and he is very safe. He gives you a lot of stability, a lot of utility in your run. So yeah, I feel like he's sort of like a A+, S- champ. He's really solid. Again, there is one, I think that's better. On Saturday, Tribune Heraclites, Necret the Great. 2 decent options. Heraclites is very fun. I think he's one of the most unique champions, right? Because he starts just spamming stuff when he's dead, which is hilarious. If he wants to load in, there we go. It finally did it. But yeah, when he's revived, he starts doing more damage, and he's immune to block revive as well. But when he's dead and an ally attacks, he does his default skill. And his default skill not only places a True Fear that's irresistible and unblockable if he's dead, but it heals people by 20% of their max HP when he's dead. So every time an ally attacks, this guy is healing your whole team by 20% max HP. Kind of crazy. Very useful for progression. I've heard lots of players being like, oh, I beat Amius for the first time thanks to Tribune Heraclites or something like that. But for sort of general, like, endgame teams, he doesn't really have a place. And he's got a massive nuke with a revive on his A2. Like, he's a solid champ, and then an AoE nuke over here. He's solid. He's fun. He's good. But to me, again, he's sort of like a A+ sort of champion. Like, he very solid, very fun, very unique. Like, there's no champ that's doing like ally attacks when they're dead and having such fun interactions. But he's not, I feel, particularly meta in a game-changing way. But he is really cool and fantastic for progression. Necret is still relevant. Like, there are a lot more champions that hit through his shields and ally protection. And obviously, White King Narses is the most famous example, who just absolutely dumpsters on this guy. It's embarrassing. His A2, his passive, and his A3 all thrive off of what Necret does. It's bad, but like when there's no Narcies there, you do have champions that hit past this stuff. But he is still a fantastic way to keep a squishy attack damage dealer alive. And there's plenty of attack damage dealers that are almost unusable in Arena unless you got Necret. And then with Necret, they become really good. So I think there is something to be said for him. He does get used. He's not useless. Yeah, he's basically hard countered by a Narcies, but guess what? You're not fighting Narcies in every single fight, and Narcies has his own limitations as well. So Necret, I like Necret. He is good. He definitely gets use. He's solid, but there is something better. And we come to the final day, Sunday. This is the day, I think, with the Dwarves. First of all, I think Dwarves could be a little bit tricky for faction crips. Black Tusk is pretty sick. So this is a real cool thing. With 3 faction allies, everyone gets Stone Skin at the start of the fight. That's cool for some dwarf stuff. But you get counterattack when you lose 10% max HP, and it just happens every single time. That's cool. He has a full ally attack with a full cleanse on a 3-turn cooldown. That's very, very short cooldown for an ally attack, which is cool. And then they're just generally useful. Like, that's really good against like any boss really in the game. Ally attacks, cleansing, counterattacking constantly. Great. Really nice. And he's putting out as well decrease resist, decrease speed, which is pretty cool. Then he's got like this 2-turn stun with turn meter boosting. It can't be resisted. He resets his stun when someone is killed, and allies do double damage to targets under stun. He's got some interesting stuff happening for Siege. He's got some interesting stuff happening for Faction Wars. And just the ally attack, counterattack is generally useful. So I think this guy's pretty cool. I like him. I think, yeah, he could potentially be very strong for Fire Knight. Like, if they imagine they add much harder levels of Fire Knight in the future. Number one, I mean, you've got Newt in this team. Hello. So that automatically makes him potentially insane for Fire Knight. Right? You could potentially build a dwarf team, have him stone skin up everyone, take the first hit from Fire Knight, then come in with ally attacks. And with a 3-turn cooldown ally attack, give him like a reflex set or something. Give him reflex and merciless. He's going to spam this bad boy. And the newts, like even one newt probably could, like, there's a lot of potential right there for him for Fire Knight if they add more difficulties. I think he's solid everywhere. Siege, definitely potential. I like him. I don't think he's the best faction unity by any means, but I think he's actually really good. I think probably the best one, like, I really think Volcanos is crazy OP. Like, this passive is one of the most OP passives in the game. Volcanos is absurd. Teox obviously is very, very strong. And Fina, they'd be my top 3. Fina for obviously PvE content like Chimera, Hydra, that sort of stuff. Fina, Teox, and Volcanos would probably be my top 3. I might have forgotten somebody, but I think they're the top 3, I think. And then there's other good ones too, of course. But yeah, and then of course we've got the final one. In my opinion, the best champion actually of all of these is Arnon the Shining. Arnon, he is absolutely crazy. Insane nuker. Crazy base stats. His passive, though, is just so difficult to deal with. He gets more attack for every buff active on the enemy team. And then when he dies, prevents his death, gives him stone skin, and then he instantly gets to do his AoE, which ignores increased defense, strengthen, and shield. And then he decreases enemy turn meter if he kills somebody. It's absolutely nuts, right? Like, if you buff up, if you're in a go first team and you buff up, he's very difficult to deal with. Maybe Marius can do it. Bombs are good. You can put block buffs on him and kill him. That can work as well. He'll just survive on 1 HP but not get the stone skin, I think. But he's really, really annoying. Really annoying to fight. And he can hit so unbelievably hard. Like, he basically gets double damage if you got enough buffs on your team. He does double damage. And his multipliers are very, very high. And he has an extra turn on his A2 as well. Massive single target nuke just because. So yeah, this guy, he's kind of insane, actually. Genuinely kind of insane. And like, if you don't lock him out, he can AoE nuke your team when you kill him with bonus attack, and then he'll AoE nuke you again on his turn. And like, you're kind of dead. You're kind of dead. He's a monster. Very strong. Very, very strong. And yeah, I think these ratings to me are absurd. He's a 5 out of 5, I think, for arena offense and defense. He's probably a 5 out of 5 for Faction Wars as well. It's funny, he's got the worst ratings of all of these champs. In my opinion, he's actually the best one. He is the best. So there you go. That's my thoughts. Let me know what you think. Do you agree with the in-game ratings? Is Arnon the worst, or do you agree with Nub? Arnon is the best. For me, Arnon is the best. Admirable. Admirable. is pretty good. Necret is pretty good. Yeah, I put them fairly similar. Heraclites, maybe not quite as good, but pretty darn fun. Visig, not great. I put Grisor, maybe not quite as useful as Necret, but similar to Heraclites, I would say. Put Necret a little higher, and Admiral a little higher. And then two Hanorach is, she's like decent. I feel like two Hanorach would be similar enough to Tribune, and Gregor is sort of similar-ish. I'd say similar-ish as well. So there you go. Sort of my vague thoughts on it. Let me know what you think. For me personally, I will. I'll see how the hero's path. You know what? I'll see how the hero's path looks on Thursday. Yeah, not tomorrow. I keep forgetting it's only Tuesday. When the hero's path goes live, I will give you my thoughts on it, and I will decide then. For me, I'd rather save my voids, even though Arnon is crazy. I'll probably do this with sacreds because it is a 2x, and I've got 35 sacreds. I've got lots. I also have lots of voids, of course, 158. Yeah, I might mix and match them a little bit. If I do voids, I mean, there's no question. Voids I'd be pulling on Sunday. Yeah. Voids for Sunday. I already have Vizig. I definitely wouldn't go for him. For Sacreds, it depends. I probably pull them for Admiral Black Tusk, I would say. Especially for me, I actually do have, and this is a person, I have both the Dwarf Mythicals. Neither of them are particularly good, but I do have both of them. So I think Black Tusk would fit with my account pretty well. So yeah, I probably will just pull for Sunday, no matter what. But that's sort of my thoughts. Let me know, what do you think? What would you go for? You know what? I probably should mark Gregor up a bit. He's probably a bit stronger than I'm saying. His A3 is really good. I don't know. Guys, give me your thoughts. Thanks for watching. That's what's happening. And I will see you next time. Goodbye.